Captain James Carter stared at the vast expanse of space through the viewport of the USS Horizon. The ship was on a routine exploration mission in uncharted territory, and the crew was relaxed after weeks of uneventful travel. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up something unusual. "Lieutenant Ramirez, what are we looking at?" Carter asked, his voice steady despite the surge of curiosity he felt. "Sir, it's a massive structure," Ramirez replied, his fingers dancing over the console. "Unknown origin, approximately 5 times the size of our ship." Carter's brow furrowed. "Can you get me a visual?" "Working on it, sir," Ramirez said, his tone professional but tinged with excitement. After a few moments, the view screen flickered, revealing a colossal space station floating silently in the void. Its design was sleek and alien, with a metallic sheen that reflected the distant starlight, and it glowed with an ethereal light that pulsed rhythmically. The bridge crew stared in awe. "Incredible," muttered Ensign Lee, the youngest member of the crew. "Set a course, Lieutenant," Carter commanded, his eyes never leaving the screen. "Let's get a closer look." The USS Horizon moved cautiously towards the alien structure, every sensor on high alert. As they approached, the sheer scale and complexity of the station became apparent. It was a marvel of engineering, with intricate patterns and unknown technologies visible on its surface. "Captain, we're within hailing range," said Commander Elena Martinez, the ship's first officer. "Open a channel," Carter ordered. "Unknown station, this is Captain James Carter of the USS Horizon, representing the United Earth Fleet. Do you copy?" There was a tense silence as the crew waited for a response. Then the ship's communication system crackled to life. "Unidentified vessel, you are approaching Protectorate space. Identify yourselves immediately," a calm yet authoritative voice demanded. "This is Captain James Carter of the USS Horizon. We come in peace," Carter replied, choosing his words carefully. After a moment, the voice returned, slightly less stern. "You are granted permission to dock. Follow the beacon." Carter turned to his crew. "Prepare for docking, and keep your eyes open. We have no idea what we're walking into." The crew worked with practiced efficiency, navigating the ship towards the docking bay illuminated by a soft blue light. As they approached, the bay doors opened, revealing a cavernous space lined with alien ships and bustling with activity. "All systems ready for docking," Ramirez confirmed. "Take us in," Carter said, feeling a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The USS Horizon docked smoothly, and Carter stood, straightening his uniform. "Commander Martinez, you're with me. Dr. Jenkins, Ramirez, you're coming too. The rest of you maintain alert status. We don't know what to expect." As they stepped out of the airlock, a delegation awaited them. They were humanoid but distinctly different, taller, with luminescent skin and elongated limbs. Their leader stepped forward, extending a hand in a universal gesture of greeting. "I am Kira, envoy of the Protectorate. Welcome, Captain Carter," she said, her voice smooth and melodic. "Thank you, Kira," Carter replied, shaking her hand. "We come as explorers, seeking knowledge and understanding." Kira's eyes seemed to sparkle with interest. "Then you have much to learn," she said with a cryptic smile. "Come, we have much to show you." As the USS Horizon approached the alien structure, the ship's communication system crackled to life. The alien voice was calm yet authoritative, instantly conveying the seriousness of the situation. "Unidentified vessel, you are approaching Protectorate space. Identify yourselves immediately," the voice demanded. Captain James Carter quickly responded, his tone measured and diplomatic. "This is Captain James Carter of the USS Horizon, representing the United Earth Fleet. We come in peace." The bridge fell silent, every crew member holding their breath as they awaited the reply. After a tense moment, the voice returned, slightly less stern, but still cautious. "You are granted permission to dock. Follow the beacon." Carter turned to his crew, his expression serious but calm. "Prepare for docking, and keep your eyes open. We have no idea what we're walking into." The crew moved with precision and efficiency, guiding the Horizon towards the docking bay illuminated by the soft blue light of the beacon. As they approached, the bay doors slid open smoothly, revealing a massive, intricately designed interior space. Alien ships of various shapes and sizes were docked alongside, and the area buzzed with activity. All systems ready for docking, Lieutenant Ramirez confirmed, his fingers flying over the console. Take us in, Carter ordered, feeling a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The USS Horizon docked smoothly, and Carter stood up, straightening his uniform. Commander Martinez, you're with me. Dr. Jenkins, Ramirez, you're coming too. The rest of you, maintain alert status. We don't know what to expect. As they stepped out of the airlock, they were met by a delegation of aliens. They were humanoid, but distinctly different. Taller, with luminescent skin that seemed to shimmer under the station's lighting, and elongated limbs that moved with a grace that was almost ethereal. Their leader stepped forward, extending a hand in a universal gesture of greeting. I am Kira, envoy of the Protectorate. Welcome, Captain Carter, she said, her voice smooth and melodic, yet carrying an unmistakable note of authority. Thank you, Kira, Carter replied, shaking her hand. We come as explorers, seeking knowledge and understanding. Kira's eyes seemed to sparkle with interest. Then you have much to learn, she said with a cryptic smile. Come, we have much to show you. As they followed Kira through the vast corridors of the station, Carter and his crew marveled at the level of sophistication and the seamless integration of technology and nature. The walls were adorned with intricate designs that seemed to pulse with a life of their own, and the air was filled with a faint, pleasant hum. This is incredible, said Dr. Laura Jenkins, the ship's chief scientist, her eyes wide with wonder. Your technology is centuries ahead of ours. Kira nodded, her expression serene. We have been here a long time. We have seen many civilizations rise and fall. They arrived at a large circular chamber with a transparent dome that offered a breathtaking view of the surrounding space. Stars glittered like diamonds against the velvet blackness, and distant galaxies swirled in colorful patterns. This is our observation deck, Kira explained. From here, we can monitor vast regions of space and keep watch over the Protectorate's domain. Carter was impressed. It's beautiful, he said, and functional. You have achieved a remarkable balance. Kira smiled. Thank you, Captain, but there is much more to see. As they continued the tour, they encountered various advanced technologies, from energy systems that powered the station to medical facilities that could heal injuries almost instantaneously. The crew's awe grew with each new discovery. You truly have much to teach us, Carter said, feeling a sense of both humility and excitement. And you have much to offer in return, Kira replied. This is just the beginning of what could be a mutually beneficial relationship. As the tour concluded, Kira led them to a grand hall where a formal reception was being held in their honor. Delegates from various Protectorate member species were present, each more fascinating than the last. Welcome to the Protectorate, Kira announced to the assembled guests. May this be the start of a long and fruitful alliance. Carter raised a glass in a toast. To new beginnings, he said, feeling the weight of the moment. And to the future. Once docked, a delegation awaited them. They were humanoid, but distinctly different. Taller, with luminescent skin that emitted a soft, otherworldly glow, and elongated limbs that moved with a fluid grace. Their leader stepped forward, her movements smooth and deliberate, extending a hand in a universal gesture of greeting. I am Kira, envoy of the Protectorate. Welcome, Captain Carter, she said, her voice smooth and melodious, carrying an air of authority and warmth. Captain James Carter, standing at the forefront with his senior officers, took her hand with a firm but respectful grip. Thank you, Kira. We come as explorers, seeking knowledge and understanding, he replied, his tone measured and diplomatic. Kira's eyes, a deep, shimmering blue, seemed to study him intently for a moment before she smiled. Then you have much to learn, she said with a hint of a smile. Come, we have much to show you. As they proceeded deeper into the station, Carter and his team were struck by the sheer scale and complexity of their surroundings. The corridors were lined with intricate designs that seemed to pulse with a soft, rhythmic light, casting an ambient glow that was both soothing and awe-inspiring. Kira led them to a large open atrium filled with lush, vibrant plant life. The air was fresh and fragrant, a stark contrast to the sterile environment of the horizon. This is our Garden of Harmony, Kira explained, a place where technology and nature coexist in perfect balance. Dr. Laura Jenkins, the ship's chief scientist, couldn't hide her amazement. "This is incredible," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. "Your technology is integrated seamlessly with nature. How is this possible?" Kira smiled, her expression one of quiet pride. "We have spent millennia perfecting this balance. It is a core principle of our civilization that technology should enhance, not dominate, the natural world." As they continued the tour, Kira showed them various aspects of the station's advanced technology. They saw energy systems that harnessed the power of stars, medical facilities that could heal injuries almost instantaneously, and educational centers where knowledge was shared freely among the Protectorate's member species. "Your technology is centuries ahead of ours," Jenkins remarked, unable to contain her admiration. Kira nodded. "We have been here a long time. We have seen many civilizations rise and fall, and we have learned from each of them. But we believe that the greatest strength comes from unity and cooperation." "This way," Kira said, guiding them to a large transparent observation deck that offered a stunning view of a nearby nebula. The swirling colors of the cosmic cloud painted a mesmerizing backdrop against the blackness of space. "This is incredible," said Dr. Laura Jenkins, her voice filled with awe. "I've never seen anything like it." Kira smiled warmly. "The universe is full of wonders, Dr. Jenkins, and we have only begun to scratch the surface." Next, they were taken to the energy center of the station. Towering machines hummed with power, drawing energy from a miniature star contained within a magnetic field. The air vibrated with the raw power harnessed in the facility. "Your energy systems are extraordinary," Jenkins noted, examining the readouts. "This level of efficiency is beyond anything we have." Kira nodded. "We have perfected these systems over millennia. They are designed to be sustainable and in harmony with the natural balance." From there, they moved to the medical wing, where advanced medical pods were attending to various Protectorate species. One pod was regenerating the limb of a creature that resembled a cross between a human and an octopus. The process was swift and seamless. "This is our medical technology," Kira explained. "We can heal most injuries and cure many diseases with these pods. Our focus is on enhancing the quality of life for all species within the Protectorate." Captain Carter was impressed. "Your technology is remarkable, Kira, but what about governance? How do you manage such a diverse array of species and cultures?" Kira led them to a grand hall filled with holographic displays of different planets and species. "We are governed by a council of representatives from each member species. Decisions are made through consensus, with the welfare of all beings as our guiding principle." Commander Elena Martinez, the ship's first officer, observed the displays with keen interest. "This must require a high level of cooperation and trust." "It does," Kira agreed. "But we believe that unity is our greatest strength. By working together, we can achieve things that no single species could accomplish alone." The tour concluded at a large, circular chamber with a domed ceiling that projected a view of the stars. It was a place of reflection and contemplation, designed to remind the inhabitants of the Protectorate of their place in the universe. "This is our hall of reflection," Kira said, "a place to consider our actions and their impact on the wider cosmos." Carter looked around, feeling a sense of awe and respect for these beings. "Thank you, Kira. This has been an enlightening experience." Kira bowed her head slightly. "The pleasure is ours, Captain Carter. We look forward to learning from you as well. The journey of discovery is one we all share." During a private meeting, Kira invited Captain Carter and his senior officers to a secluded chamber deep within the station. The room was dimly lit, with a large holographic table at its center, displaying a rotating image of the galaxy. Kira began, her tone serious and measured. "What I am about to reveal to you is a truth that has been hidden for millennia. Your people, Captain Carter, are not the first humans we have encountered." Carter exchanged glances with Dr. Jenkins and Commander Martinez, confusion and intrigue evident on their faces. "What do you mean?" Carter asked, leaning forward. Kira manipulated the holographic table, and the image zoomed in on a cluster of stars. "Long ago, your ancestors were part of a great galactic civilization known as the Astran Unity. They were explorers, scientists, and diplomats, much like you. They forged alliances, shared knowledge, and built wonders that still stand today. Jenkins gasped, her eyes widening. How could we not know this? Our history records nothing of such a civilization. The reasons are complex, Kara replied. Wars, cataclysms, and the passage of time have eroded much of your history. Many records were lost or deliberately destroyed to prevent powerful knowledge from falling into the wrong hands. Carter felt a mix of awe and sorrow. So our ancestors were once a part of something greater. What happened to them? Kira's expression darkened. The Astran Unity was ultimately brought to its knees by a powerful enemy known as the Rift. This malevolent force seeks to consume all advanced civilizations. In their final act, the Astrans scattered their people across the galaxy to preserve their legacy. Martinez frowned. And we've been living in the dark ever since, unaware of our true heritage. Exactly, Kira said. But now you have the chance to reclaim that legacy. The data we have shared with you contains references to ancient human colonies, advanced technologies, and maps of lost worlds. It is up to you to uncover these secrets and rebuild your civilization. Carter took a deep breath, the weight of this revelation settling on his shoulders. Thank you, Kira. This knowledge is invaluable. We will do everything we can to honor our ancestors and rebuild what was lost. Back on the horizon, the crew pored over the data Kira provided. The ship's briefing room was filled with holographic displays of ancient star maps, schematics of advanced technologies, and fragments of historical records. The atmosphere was electric with excitement and anticipation. This changes everything, Ramirez said, his eyes wide as he examined a holographic map showing the locations of ancient human colonies. We could rebuild our civilization with this knowledge. Carter nodded, his expression thoughtful. But we must be cautious. This power could also be dangerous. We need to understand it fully before we can use it wisely. Dr. Jenkins was engrossed in a set of schematics that detailed advanced medical technology. Look at this, she said, her voice filled with awe. These devices could revolutionize our medical capabilities. Diseases we currently consider incurable could be treated easily. Martinez, who had been studying the historical records, added, and the political and social structures of the Astran Unity were incredibly advanced. If we can learn from their successes and failures, we could create a more just and stable society. Carter looked around the room, seeing the enthusiasm and determination in his crew. This is our chance to uncover the truth of our past and secure our future, he said, his voice filled with resolve. We need to start planning our next steps. Jenkins, focus on the technological schematics. Martinez, delve into the historical and political records. Ramirez, analyze the star maps and identify potential locations for exploration. The crew nodded, their roles clear. As they set to work, the horizon hummed with a renewed sense of purpose. Days turned into weeks as the crew worked tirelessly to decipher the data. They uncovered references to an ancient archive located on a distant planet, believed to contain vast amounts of knowledge from the Astran Unity. There were also hints of a powerful energy source that could revolutionize their technology. We have a lead, Ramirez announced during a briefing. The star maps indicate a planet in the Omega sector that matches the descriptions in the records. It could be the location of the ancient archive. Set a course, Carter ordered. Let's make history. As the horizon journeyed through uncharted space, the crew prepared for what lay ahead. They knew the risks were high, but the potential rewards were greater. The revelation of their ancient heritage had given them a new sense of identity and purpose. Upon arriving at the Omega sector, the horizon sensors picked up the coordinates of a barren, rocky planet. The surface was dotted with the ruins of ancient structures, half buried in the dust of ages. This is it, Jenkins said, her voice trembling with excitement. The archive must be here. The crew donned their exploration gear and descended to the planet's surface. They moved cautiously through the ruins, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Finally, they reached a large, intact structure that appeared to be the entrance to the archive. Let's go, Carter said, leading the way. Inside, they found a vast chamber filled with rows of ancient data storage devices. The air was thick with the sense of history and knowledge waiting to be uncovered. "We did it," Jenkins whispered, tears of joy in her eyes. "We found the archive." Upon their return to Earth, Captain James Carter and his crew were greeted with a mixture of excitement and skepticism. The United Earth Council, a group of representatives from various nations and scientific bodies, had convened an emergency session to hear their report. The Grand Council chamber buzzed with anticipation as Carter and his team entered, carrying the data they had painstakingly gathered from the Protectorate. Councillor Brooks, an elderly statesman with a reputation for caution, opened the session. "Captain Carter, you and your crew have returned with claims that could fundamentally alter our understanding of human history. Please present your findings." Carter stepped forward, his voice steady and confident. "Councillors, during our mission, we encountered an advanced civilization known as the Protectorate. They revealed that our ancestors were once part of a great galactic empire called the Astran Unity. We have obtained data that includes star maps, advanced technologies, and historical records that corroborate their claims." He gestured to Dr. Jenkins, who began to display holographic images and schematics. "These are schematics of medical and energy technologies far beyond our current capabilities. They were created by our ancestors," she explained, her voice filled with passion. The council members murmured among themselves, their expressions ranging from amazement to doubt. Councillor Patel, a renowned scientist, leaned forward. "And what evidence do you have that this data is genuine and not fabricated?" Commander Martinez addressed the question. "We have cross-referenced the star maps with known celestial formations and found them to be accurate. Additionally, the Protectorate has provided us with artifacts and biological samples that match ancient human DNA." Brooks raised a hand for silence. "We must proceed carefully. This information could be both a great opportunity and a grave threat. What do you propose we do next?" Carter took a deep breath. "We recommend forming an expedition to explore the coordinates provided by the Protectorate. We need to verify these findings on the ground and uncover any additional knowledge that might be there. This is our chance to reclaim our lost heritage and advance our civilization." After a lengthy deliberation, the council agreed. "You have our support, Captain Carter," Brooks said finally. "But remember, the stakes are high. We must proceed with caution and wisdom." With the council's approval, preparations for the expedition began in earnest. The USS Horizon was outfitted with new equipment and supplies, incorporating some of the advanced technology they had learned from the Protectorate. The crew, energized by the magnitude of their mission, worked tirelessly to ensure everything was ready. Captain Carter called a meeting in the ship's briefing room. The senior officers gathered around a large table, a holographic display of the target coordinates floating above it. "Our first destination is a planet located in the Omega Sector," Carter began. "According to the Protectorate's data, this planet was once home to a major Astran colony and may contain an ancient archive of their knowledge." Dr. Jenkins, her eyes bright with anticipation, added, "The possibilities are staggering. If we can access this archive, we could unlock technologies and knowledge that have been lost for millennia." Lieutenant Ramirez, ever the pragmatist, voiced his concerns. "The Omega Sector is largely uncharted territory. We don't know what kind of hazards we might face. We need to be prepared for anything." Commander Martinez nodded in agreement. "We'll need to set up detailed exploration protocols and ensure that all security measures are in place. We can't afford to be caught off guard." Carter looked around the room, seeing the determination in his officers' faces. "This is our chance to make history. Let's make sure we're ready for whatever comes our way." As the Horizon embarked on its journey to the Omega Sector, the crew's sense of purpose was palpable. The ship navigated through vast regions of uncharted space, encountering strange phenomena and breathtaking celestial vistas. During one particularly challenging segment of the journey, the Horizon passed through a dense asteroid field. The crew worked in perfect synchronization to navigate the treacherous terrain. "Stay focused, people," Carter urged over the comm. "We're almost through." Finally, they arrived at their destination. The planet, known as Elysium according to ancient records, was a barren, rocky world with a thin atmosphere. As the Horizon descended, they could see the ruins of ancient structures scattered across the surface. "Touchdown in 5 minutes," Ramirez announced, guiding the ship to a smooth landing. The crew donned their exploration gear and prepared to disembark. As they stepped onto the planet's surface, a sense of awe washed over them. The ruins, though weathered by time, spoke of a once great civilization. Carter led the way to the largest structure, which they believed to be the entrance to the ancient archive. The doors, massive and intricately carved, stood partially open, revealing a dark interior. "Let's move," Carter said, his voice steady. "Stay alert and stick together." Inside, the air was cool and dry. The walls were lined with shelves holding countless data storage devices, each one a potential treasure trove of knowledge. Dr. Jenkins and her team began to carefully activate and download the data, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of holographic screens. "We found it," Jenkins whispered, her voice trembling with excitement. "The archive is intact." As the crew worked, Carter took a moment to reflect on their journey. They had uncovered secrets that had been buried for millennia and were on the brink of a new era for humanity. The mission was far from over, but already the impact of their discoveries was profound. "We did it," Martinez said quietly, standing beside him. Carter nodded. "This is just the beginning. We have a lot of work ahead, but we've taken the first step towards reclaiming our heritage and building a better future." The journey to the first set of coordinates provided by the Protectorate was fraught with challenges. As the USS Horizon navigated through uncharted space, the crew encountered strange phenomena and hostile environments that tested their resolve and resourcefulness. "Captain, we're entering a region of intense gravitational anomalies," reported Lieutenant Ramirez, his voice tense as he monitored the fluctuating readings on his console. "Steady as she goes, Lieutenant," Captain Carter responded, his eyes fixed on the view screen. "Adjust our trajectory to compensate and keep an eye on those sensors." The ship shuddered as it passed through a particularly strong anomaly, the hull groaning under the strain. "Engineering status report," Carter called over the comm. Chief Engineer Thompson's voice crackled through the speakers. "We're holding together, Captain, but it's a rough ride. We'll need to run a full diagnostic once we're through." Carter nodded, appreciating the calm professionalism of his crew. "Understood. Keep me posted." As they navigated deeper into the anomaly field, the Horizon's advanced sensors detected a massive swirling vortex of energy ahead. "What is that?" asked Ensign Lee, awe and fear mingling in his voice. "It's an energy vortex," Dr. Jenkins explained, her eyes wide with fascination. "I've never seen anything like it. It could be a natural phenomenon or the remnants of an ancient energy source." "Can we get through it?" Carter asked, his gaze shifting to Ramirez. "It'll be tricky, but I think we can manage," Ramirez replied, his hands moving deftly over the controls. "I'll plot a course that should take us through the least turbulent areas." The crew braced themselves as the Horizon approached the vortex. The ship rocked violently, alarms blaring as they were buffeted by waves of energy. Despite the turbulence, Ramirez's skillful piloting kept them on course. "We're almost through," he called out, his voice steady despite the strain. Finally, the Horizon emerged from the vortex into a calm, open expanse of space. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief as the alarms fell silent. "Good work, everyone," Carter said, a rare smile breaking through his usually stern demeanor. "Let's take a moment to regroup and run those diagnostics." After completing their diagnostics and making necessary repairs, the Horizon continued on its journey. Their destination was a planet identified in the Protectorate's data as Viridian Prime, once a thriving human colony. As they approached, the crew gathered in the observation deck, eager to catch their first glimpse of the ancient world. "Entering orbit around Viridian Prime," Ramirez announced, bringing the planet into view on the main screen. The sight that greeted them was both awe-inspiring and melancholic. The planet's surface was a patchwork of lush green forests and vast deserts, interspersed with the ruins of ancient cities. Massive stone structures, now partially reclaimed by nature, stood as silent sentinels of a bygone era. "Prepare a landing party," Carter ordered. "Dr. Jenkins, Martinez, Ramirez, you're with me. Let's see what we can uncover down there." The landing party descended to the surface in a shuttle, touching down near the largest of the ancient cities. As they stepped out onto the dusty ground, A sense of history and loss enveloped them. "This place must have been magnificent in its prime," Jenkins said, her voice hushed with reverence. Carter nodded, surveying the ruins. "Let's find out what happened here. Spread out and look for anything that might give us a clue." The team moved through the crumbling streets, scanning the ruins with portable devices. They found evidence of advanced technology and sophisticated infrastructure, but also signs of a sudden and catastrophic event. "Captain, over here," Martinez called, her voice echoing through an ancient courtyard. Carter and the others hurried to her side, finding her standing before a massive stone tablet covered in intricate carvings. "It looks like some kind of historical record," Jenkins observed, her fingers tracing the symbols. As they deciphered the carvings, a grim story began to emerge. Viridian Prime had been a center of learning and culture, a beacon of the Astran unity. But it had been ravaged by a mysterious force, leaving the survivors to scatter and the colony to fall into ruin. "This force matches the description of the rift that Kira warned us about," Carter said, his expression darkening. "It seems they struck here too." Ramirez pointed to a section of the tablet that showed a star map. "This might indicate the location of other colonies or safe havens. We should investigate further." Jenkins nodded. "There might still be survivors or descendants of the original colonists. We need to find them and learn more about what happened." As they continued to explore, they discovered a hidden chamber beneath one of the ruined buildings. Inside, they found a cache of ancient devices and records, preserved by some form of advanced technology. "This is incredible," Jenkins breathed, carefully examining a device that appeared to be a data storage unit. "If we can access these records, we might learn even more about the Astran unity and what they faced." Carter's resolve hardened. "Let's get these back to the horizon. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but we're on the right track." As they continued their exploration of Viridian Prime, the team stumbled upon a large, ornate building that seemed remarkably well preserved compared to the surrounding ruins. The structure's grandeur suggested it had been of great importance, perhaps a center of governance or knowledge. "This must have been a significant site," Jenkins mused, her eyes scanning the intricate carvings that adorned the entrance. "Let's see what's inside." They cautiously entered the building, their flashlights cutting through the dim interior. The air was cool and dry, and the walls were lined with ancient tapestries depicting scenes of everyday life and great events from the colony's history. In the central hall, they found a massive, dormant machine, its surface covered in alien symbols and controls. "This looks like some kind of central computer," Ramirez observed, running his fingers over the control panel. "But it's unlike anything we've seen before." "Try to activate it," Carter suggested. "Let's see if it still works." Ramirez worked on the controls, and after a few tense moments, the machine hummed to life. Lights flickered on, and a holographic figure appeared before them. It was a humanoid figure, with features that seemed both ancient and wise. "I am the Guardian," the figure announced, its voice resonating through the hall. "Protector and keeper of the knowledge of Viridian Prime. Who are you?" Carter stepped forward. "I am Captain James Carter of the USS Horizon. We come in search of knowledge and to reclaim our lost heritage." The Guardian studied them for a moment, then nodded. "You have returned as was foretold. The knowledge of the ancients is yours to reclaim. But beware, not all is as it seems. The Rift, a malevolent force, brought destruction upon us. It seeks to consume all advanced civilizations." Jenkins's eyes widened. "The Rift? We've heard of this. It's a force that seeks out and destroys advanced civilizations. But why? And how can we stop it?" "The Rift is a force of chaos and entropy," the Guardian explained. "It is drawn to advanced technology and knowledge, seeking to absorb and annihilate. To stop it, you must understand it and be prepared to confront it with unity and strength." Carter exchanged a glance with his team. "We need more information. How can we access the knowledge stored here?" The Guardian gestured to a series of consoles. "The records of Viridian Prime are stored within these archives. You may access them, but be warned, the knowledge is vast and will take time to comprehend." As the team began downloading the data, Carter felt a mix of anticipation and trepidation. They were on the verge of uncovering invaluable knowledge, but the threat of the Rift loomed large. Back on the horizon, the crew worked tirelessly to decipher the data retrieved from the archives of Viridian Prime. The information was extensive, detailing not only the history and achievements of the Astran Unity, but also the nature and origins of the rift. "The more we learn about the rift, the more dangerous it seems," Jenkins said, her brow furrowed as she studied the data. "It's not just a physical force. It's almost sentient, with the ability to adapt and evolve." Carter stood behind her, his expression grave. "And it's been responsible for the downfall of countless civilizations, including our ancestors. We need to find a way to stop it before it finds us." As they delved deeper into the archives, they discovered references to an ancient weapon created by the Astran Unity as a last resort against the rift. The weapon, known as the Solus Beacon, was said to harness the energy of a star and could potentially repel or even destroy the rift. "We need to find this Solus Beacon," Carter said, his voice filled with determination. "If it's our best chance against the rift, we have to pursue it." Martinez, who had been analyzing the star maps, spoke up. "There are coordinates here that match the location of the Solus Beacon. It's on a planet in a distant system, far from any known space routes." "Set a course," Carter ordered. "We're going after it." The Horizon embarked on its new mission, the stakes higher than ever. As they approached the coordinates, they encountered increasingly strange and hostile phenomena. The space around them seemed to twist and distort, as if reality itself was being warped by the presence of the rift. "Captain, we're detecting massive energy fluctuations ahead," Ramirez reported. "It could be the beacon, but it might also be a manifestation of the rift." "Proceed with caution," Carter instructed. "We can't afford any mistakes." The Horizon emerged from a swirling vortex of energy to find a desolate planet bathed in the light of a dying star. In the distance, they could see the remains of an ancient structure, partially buried in the planet's surface. "That's it," Jenkins said, her voice filled with awe. "The Solus Beacon." As they descended to the surface, the team prepared for what could be their most critical mission yet. The air was thick with anticipation and a sense of foreboding. They knew that the fate of their civilization could depend on their success. The structure housing the Solus Beacon was heavily fortified and filled with complex machinery. It was clear that the Astran Unity had gone to great lengths to protect their last hope against the rift. "Let's move," Carter said, leading the way. "We need to get this beacon operational." Inside, they found the beacon's control room. The technology was ancient but incredibly advanced, with intricate circuits and glowing crystals that pulsed with energy. "We need to figure out how to activate it," Jenkins said, her fingers flying over the controls. "This might take some time." As they worked, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. They knew the rift could be drawing closer, attracted by the activation of the beacon. Finally, after what felt like hours, Jenkins managed to bring the beacon online. The entire structure hummed with power, and a beam of pure energy shot into the sky, connecting with the star above. "We did it," Jenkins said, her voice trembling with relief. But their celebration was short-lived. The ground began to shake, and the sky darkened as a massive rift opened above them. The rift had found them. "All hands, prepare for battle," Carter shouted, his voice echoing through the comms. "We need to hold off the rift long enough for the beacon to do its work." The crew of the Horizon sprang into action, their determination unwavering. They knew the stakes, and they were ready to face whatever came their way. As the rift descended, the Solus Beacon pulsed with increasing intensity, its energy clashing with the malevolent force. The battle was fierce, with the Horizon's weapons and the beacon's power combining to push back the encroaching darkness. "Hold the line," Carter commanded, his voice a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. Slowly but surely, the beacon's energy began to overwhelm the rift. The malevolent force recoiled, its tendrils of darkness retreating under the relentless onslaught of light. "We're doing it," Ramirez shouted. "The beacon is working." With one final blinding pulse of energy, the Solus Beacon unleashed its full power. The rift screamed in defiance before collapsing in on itself, vanishing into nothingness. The crew stood in stunned silence, the weight of their victory sinking in. They had faced the greatest threat their civilization had ever known and emerged victorious. Carter looked around at his team, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it," he said quietly. "We saved our future." The triumph over the rift was monumental, but Captain Carter knew that this victory was just one battle in a much larger war. As the crew of the USS Horizon celebrated their success, Carter was already thinking ahead. They couldn't face such a formidable enemy alone. They needed allies. "We need to return to the Protectorate," Carter said to his senior officers during a briefing. "We face a common enemy, and we must stand together if we are to have any hope of long-term survival." Commander Martinez nodded in agreement. The Protectorate has resources and knowledge that could be invaluable. An alliance could be the key to our mutual survival. With the decision made, the Horizon set a course back to the Protectorate. The journey was swift, driven by a renewed sense of purpose. As they approached the massive station, Carter contacted Kira, the Protectorate envoy who had initially welcomed them. "Envoy Kira, this is Captain James Carter of the USS Horizon. We request an audience with the Protectorate Council. We have urgent matters to discuss." Kira's holographic image appeared on the bridge, her expression serious. "Welcome back, Captain Carter. The Council has been expecting you. Please proceed to the designated docking bay." Once docked, Carter and his senior officers were escorted to the Grand Hall of the Protectorate Council. Representatives from various species were present, their eyes fixed on the human delegation with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Kira introduced them, her voice carrying the weight of the moment. "Esteemed council members, I present to you Captain James Carter and his crew. They bring news of great significance." Carter stepped forward, his gaze steady as he addressed the assembly. "Honorable council members, we have faced the rift and survived, but we know this is only a temporary reprieve. The rift is a threat to all advanced civilizations, including the Protectorate. We propose an alliance to pool our knowledge, resources, and strengths to combat this existential threat." There was a murmur of discussion among the council members. Finally, one of them, an elder with a wise and venerable appearance, spoke. "Captain Carter, your proposal is bold and necessary. The rift is a scourge that threatens us all. An alliance is indeed the logical step. We are prepared to work together to ensure our mutual survival." Carter felt a surge of relief. "Thank you. Together we can develop strategies and technologies to defend our worlds and push back the rift." Kira smiled, her expression one of determination. "Let us begin immediately. There is much to do." On the USS Horizon, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of urgency and purpose. The ship had been upgraded with Protectorate technology, and the crew was trained in new tactics and strategies. As they prepared for the upcoming battle, Carter addressed his crew. "We face a threat unlike any other, but we are not alone. We have allies, and together we stand a chance. Remember what we fight for: our homes, our families, our future. Let's show the rift what we're made of." The combined fleets of the Protectorate and Earth stood ready as the rift reappeared, a dark and ominous presence on the edge of known space. The command center buzzed with activity as orders were relayed and final preparations were made. "All hands battle stations," Carter commanded, his voice resolute. "This is it." The battle commenced with a ferocity that shook the very fabric of space. The rift's tendrils of darkness clashed with the brilliant energy beams of the Solus beacon and the Protectorate's advanced weaponry. Ships darted and weaved, dodging the rift's attacks while delivering powerful counterstrikes. In the heart of the chaos, the Horizon fought valiantly. Ramirez's expert piloting and Martinez's strategic command kept the ship in the thick of the fight, dealing significant blows to the enemy. "Target the central mass," Jenkins shouted over the din of battle. "We need to disrupt its core." As the Horizon unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, the Solus beacon's light intensified, pushing back the darkness inch by inch. The combined forces of humanity and the Protectorate worked in perfect harmony, their unity proving to be their greatest strength. "We're making progress," Ramirez yelled. "The rift is weakening," Carter's voice rang out with unwavering determination. "Keep it up. We can do this." Slowly but surely, the tide of battle turned. The rift, battered by the relentless assault, began to falter. With one final concentrated effort, the Solus beacon unleashed a massive pulse of energy, engulfing the rift in a blinding light. The rift writhed and screamed, its dark form disintegrating under the onslaught of pure energy, and then with a final deafening roar, it collapsed in on itself, vanishing into nothingness. Cheers erupted across the fleet as the realization of their victory set in. They had faced the greatest threat their civilizations had ever known, and emerged triumphant. Carter looked around at his crew, pride and relief evident on his face. "We did it," he said quietly, the weight of the moment settling over him. "We saved our future." Kira's holographic image appeared on the bridge, her expression one of deep gratitude. "Thank you, Captain Carter. Your bravery and leadership have saved us all." Carter smiled. "This victory belongs to all of us. Together we have proven that unity is our greatest strength."